Hey guys, it's Tony. Welcome back to the channel. The channel, as always, is Tony Talks Cards, and I'm talking about cards here in my truck, in a parking lot, not driving, being safe. Don't worry about that. But kind of inspired earlier today, and I'm sitting in a parking lot right now. I thought, why not do a quick video? It's a different background than usual, and see how it goes. So, inspired by another content creator in his video recently. The channel is called Brad's Vintage Collection. Check out Brad if you haven't already. I think he's a newer channel, but may have been on YouTube commenting for a while, but got some great first videos on his collection, pickups to the National. And his recent video was, I think, titled something like 4 Opinions in 5 Minutes. You know, it's a quick video, his quick thoughts on a couple of key hobby topics, and kind of inspired me to do something similar, but with a different set of questions. So we'll see how this goes. But I'd love to have your thoughts and comments on my questions here, and see if we can learn something from each other too. So I think I'm going to title this video something like 3 answers and 4 questions, 4 opinions, or 4 questions, 3 opinions, something like that. But we'll see where the title ends up at. But my point of this is going to be, here's 4 questions. I'm going to give you my answers or my thoughts on 3 of them. But the 4th question, I want your thoughts. What are your thoughts and comments and answers on it? Now I'll give you my answer to the 4th question in the comments, but not in the video. So we'll see how this goes. Just kind of a new way of doing things here, and thought we'd just try something out new here on a Thursday. Probably come out on a Friday tomorrow, heading into Labor Day weekend. So yeah, look forward to your comments, and hopefully y'all get to watch. Leave me some thoughts and feedback, and we'll hopefully learn from each other too. So like I said, 4 questions, 3 answers, something like that. The first question is, do you have a preferred place to buy your cards based on price of the card? So for example, if you are looking for 50-cent to $1 cards to finish up a team set, a binder, a full complete set of cards, do you prefer to buy that in a certain way? Obviously, we all know about eBay, Facebook, card shows, whatnot, ComC. But if cards are kind of that threshold, do you prefer to buy them in a certain place? What about cards? This is gonna be 1A, 1B, I guess. Do you prefer to buy cards of a certain dollar amount, above a certain dollar amount, in a different place? So I'll give you my answers on some of these first. So last question first. So if a card's above about $200, I rarely buy that sight unseen. Meaning I'll buy most of my more expensive $200 or above cards in person. Just my kind of comfort level, I guess. I want to see the card, look at it, feel it, tilt in the light a little bit, make sure I can see any creases, wrinkles, or lack thereof. But on the other hand, cards that are like 50 cents or $1, you can find those all day long on eBay, ComC, Facebook, your local card shop. But I kind of like buying those in person at a card show too. So at the National, I love seeing dealers with tons of binders and albums to flip through, and I can go through my want list and pick out 10, 20, 50 cards, maybe try to bundle a deal out of it. And again, you got the cards in hand. They're not being mailed to you from 50 cards from 10 different vendors on eBay or Facebook. And you get them all there in hand, and you can, again, avoid shipping and kind of see the cards for yourself too. So I kind of like both ends of the spectrum in person. But obviously, and just for me, I'm in Arizona, I'm in Phoenix. We have card shows here, but not as many as you guys have like on the East Coast, Philly, Boston, those areas like that. So I'll buy plenty of stuff on Facebook. Don't get me wrong. I'm buying a lot of stuff on those online sites for cards that are $1 and $2, and also cards that are $50 or $100. But if I had my druthers about it, using an old time word there, I guess, I'd rather buy those in person if I can. So I'm curious, do you all have thresholds where you change how you or where you'd want to buy your cards? And what have you had most luck with, maybe? I was actually just talking today, literally an hour ago, with my friend Jay at Average Vintage Collector about Whatnot. And I had never experienced Whatnot or knew really what that was, and learned more about that from him too, so that was kind of cool. So that's question 1. I'll try to speed up here with my questions to keep the video not too long. Question 2, if you wanted to sell something, do you have a preference for where you sell it at? Likewise, do you like to sell on eBay, Facebook, trade a local card shop, sell to a dealer? Does it matter the price of the card? For me, I've done eBay sales like we all have, but my most heavy selling, the dollars I've sold the most of, was a couple years ago. I was selling off all my vintage football sets from the 50s to the 70s. And I found a cool vintage football cards Facebook site, and I sold probably 3/4 of those sets on that site. And again, I looked at what the comps would be, what I wanted to get out of the cards based on the condition of the cards in the set. And I was able to negotiate with other collectors generally on that Facebook site and get a fair price. And if I took some of the sets, like I said, couldn't sell them on Facebook, took them to eBay and sold them there too. But again, eBay takes their 13-15% out as well. And so you kind of have to weigh, the price of what you're selling, the ease of selling it, the hassle of selling something, and whether your price may materially differ if you're going to a collector or a dealer or someone's going to resell it, right? So for me, I've had a lot of good luck selling things on Facebook, whether they be full football sets or even single raw graded cards. I find a lot of collectors are on that site and are willing to, work with you on price, whereas maybe a dealer, may want to, of course, buy at 80-85%, and that's their business. Nothing wrong with that. But for me personally, I've enjoyed getting to know certain Facebook sites, the key buyers and sellers, and making connections that way too for sales, and even having recurring sales with some of those same people I found. So that's my 2 cents on number 2. Number 3, this is going to be a good one too. So actually, I'm going to skip number 4 first. Let you think about 4, then go back to 3. 4, the one I'm not going to give my answer to, is this. If you're, let's just say, when did you start collecting cards? 8, 9, 10, 5, year-old self, right? If your 8-year-old self, using me as an example, I began when I was around 7 or 8 years old. If my 8-year-old self saw my collection right now, my card room right now, what would surprise him the most? I'd love to have your thoughts on that for you. So if your 8, 10, 12-year-old, 5-year-old self saw the cards you're displaying in your binders, or the ones in your want list on eBay, or what you just bought at the National or a recent card show you went to, what would surprise your younger self most about your current collecting habits? Maybe nothing. Maybe you collect the same way you did many years ago, but like me, I collect a little bit different, generally the same. But again, I will leave a cliffhanger here. I'm not going to tell you what my answer to that is right now. I'll put my answer to that question in the comments. So think about that. If you saw your younger self, what would surprise him or her the most? And what may be the most similar to that person if he saw your collection? Lastly, and this is going to be pretty embarrassing right now. This is the joy of live videos, I guess, right? I forgot my third question. I'm sitting in my car. I had a list with me in my office, in my card room. I knew what that third question was, and I plain forgot about it. So we're going to do an audible right here. I guess I'm going to rename this video 3 questions and 2 answers, or 3 questions and 2 opinions. I'll probably remember what the question was when I get back to my home later tonight, but the video is being done. We'll just keep it as is. So maybe a shorter video. Maybe y'all like that. That'll be a good thing for all of us, having a shorter video and having one less question to hear me answer. So anyway, those are my 3 questions to you. I've answered 2 about where I prefer to buy based on type of card, size of card, and where I've had good luck selling. You got my answers there. Question 3 again, if you and your younger self bumped into each other, what would your younger self say? What would be most surprising, most similar, or what would he or she scratch his head at the most that you're liking right now?